My aunt gave my mom a box of used cigarette lighters that belonged to my Uncle Mark. And at the time, I thought it would be cool to do a mosaic with one. It wasn't until after I finished it and I began to edit the video that I considered you may like to hear a story about him instead of only hearing about the mosaic process. Uncle Mark smoked unfiltered Camel cigarettes, he drank Budweiser, and he always drove a new Cadillac with those leather seats. He was a mix of Dean Martin and Archie Bunker, and he would have failed at being politically correct. You might have an uncle like that. So in the 70s, there was an oil crisis. In most places, you were limited to buying only $5 worth of gas. But regardless of that, Uncle Mark didn't think twice about taking us on a 12-hour drive to Nuevo Laredo, Mexico. And it was just across the border from Laredo, Texas. And it was, your romantic, now old-fashioned version of a Mexican border town. It had all the bright colors, friendly people, the music in the background. I remember the hotel pool had those blue and white terracotta tile, just like you see in the older movies, like from the 60s. So when he took us there, we mostly shopped, and we bought us a carload of ceramic flower pots, cat statues, and little pig statues, leather belts and eel-skin wallets when those were legal, and bottles of Mexican vanilla. Well, on our last trip, before the 90s, we bought so much stuff and had that station wagon so full that we got stopped at the border. And so they accused us of buying the items for resale. And when you buy things, sort of wholesale to resell them, to take them back into the States to resell them, you have to pay a particular tax. So after they made us unload everything that we'd bought, every single item laid out, the search dogs got a full whiff of all of our underthings. Uncle Mark had a little side conversation with the agent, and I believe paid that special tax before we were sent on our way. Uncle Mark was a locomotive engineer and a Korean War vet. He passed away a few years ago, and every once in a while I sing out Nat King Cole's Ramblin' Rose, just like he did on those trips to Mexico. In the future, I think when I have someone in mind and I do a mosaic, I want to use more items that remind me of that person. Telling the story about Uncle Mark for this was sort of a second thought, so I didn't get to put any items that reminded me of him in the mosaic. But we'll do better. Follow Mosaic Storytime to see my upcoming projects and give me a like. It doesn't cost anything and it helps me out a lot. And if you have a project in mind, just start it. Doesn't have to be perfect, just make it fun.